Good evening. Stephen Leggett. You probably know me. If you don't, I'm Stephen Leggett. I'm really pleased that you could join me on this live stream. And if you're catching up later, this event could be even more extraordinary. But let me get into that shortly. Let me put together the stream of consciousness first. So I'll go silent as I issue a prayer and set the intention for this session. And we're done. So we're now live, and I was called to set up this event this morning. I was planning for a much bigger launch in August, and that'll still go ahead, but I was moved by the Holy Spirit to come online now to my friends and ex-colleagues and people I collaborate with, to share this healing online. I've just had a remarkable couple of weeks, 3 weeks, meeting with people I know and love, helping them heal from a variety of things. Some of them they didn't even know were manifesting as problems for them. And it's really special, this thing that I facilitate, because it is just facilitation, because you're the healers. We're all blessed from birth with this ability to self-heal. And I merely reconnect that channel of love from God through to you. And as I mentioned in my post, it doesn't matter whether you believe in God, because God believes in you. As people join this live stream, I'll also make sure that they can connect with this healing power, because it's something for all of you. And I did mention that if you have pets, that they should come and listen too, because there's a message here for them. And if they can get some healing energy, if they have a need, then have them here. Have them here to start the healing process. And as we go through this session, as we go through this live feed, remember, you're continuously connected. We're all continuously connected. And that's the way God can speak to us, and that's the way I can speak to you right now. And I'm not talking about a broadband connection or some web connection. I'm talking about a real spiritual connection at a common point of vibration that allows us all to experience this healing in the moment right now. As we go through this session, I'll repeat a number of things, but it would be great to hear any experience, any physical, perhaps, experiences that you feel as we commune in this live stream. If you do, then I pray you'll speak up and type a few words in the comments about something that's going on. It may be a physical feeling. It may be a slightly difficult to explain shadow somewhere, or a burden being lifted. However this healing event manifests for you, it is through God's love. It is through God's love that we're all united now. And for me, this is a double marvel, because double is it's a multitudinous marvel. I could not ever have imagined, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, that I would be coming live onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, and through YouTube, talking about the impact of God on my life, and acting as a channel to bring God's love and healing energy through this continuous live stream. And that I'm allowed to do this, I find to be remarkable. Well, remarkable doesn't even go close. It's an amazing thing to do, and it's an amazing thing to share with you. And as I set up this event, I thought to myself, well, there's not many people who attend these live events. So how does God expect me to reach all these people, to reach you? It worried me a little. I also had other fears as well, you know. Am I going to be opening myself to ridicule? Is people who know me, they knew me as perhaps someone else, and they'll be thinking to themselves, my goodness, is that Stephen we can see on the screen right now? But it is, and all these fears and all these worries, I realise were really to no avail. So here I am. And I wanted to share a few things with you, not just this stream of consciousness which we're involved in right now, to commune, to heal with you, but also to share my story, my healing story. Because most of you all know my thing is type 2 diabetes. That was the condition that started my journey to here today. And it started, my goodness, I guess it started all the way back in 2000 when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Back then I was in my early 30s, and I guess I was rather foolish at the time. But I forgive myself. I was young. I was invincible. I was gonna live forever. Maybe you remember those times too. So I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes back in 1999. And just to explain for those who are joining from elsewhere in the world, here in the UK we have a health service which we're all very glad for. And this health service, if you're a type 2 diabetic, provides free medication. Free medication for life. Now, when I was told I was pre-diabetic, I didn't really understand what pre-diabetes was. But what I did understand is that type 2 diabetics get ill, and they get ill a bit more often than your normal. There we go. New normal. Than your non-diabetic person. So we need more medicine. Hence why diabetics who fill in the appropriate form, etc., get access to this free medicine. I mean free pharmacology, pills and stuff from the counter. And in my 30s, I was very money-minded. And I thought to myself, well, I've got to get to type 2 diabetes as quickly as I can. Because while I'm pre-diabetic, I'm paying for my prescriptions and I'm still getting ill more often than somebody who doesn't have diabetes. So let's run at this type 2 diabetes thing. And who knew, but within 9 months of being told I was pre-diabetic, I was full type 2 diabetic. Because God, the universe, always you get what you focus on. So I went through a long period of forgetting about this thing, not doing very much about it. In fact, I think the biggest thing I did at the time was I moved from drinking Guinness to diet pills, because I'd heard that all the sugar goes to alcohol in diet pills. So that must be better for me, eh? And then there were other distractions, other things that life throws at us, which somehow seem more important. That I needed a job, that we were finding it difficult to have children. And these things serve to occlude the fact that I had type 2 diabetes. And it was getting worse. I would go back to my doctor. I would ask for more medication. I would ask for different medication, because it seemed like every family of drugs, and I think I've tried them all, every family of drugs I was provided had side effects, made me feel pretty rotten. And, life is for living, it's not for enduring. So I would go back to the doctor and I'll be given different medicines and different dosages. And I would have that same conversation with the doctor. Mr. Leggett, how are you tolerating this treatment? But call me old-fashioned, but life's not for tolerating. I didn't want to tolerate life. I wanted to live life like I did before I was told I was pre-diabetic. Perhaps unreasonable, but that's what I wanted. Anyway, I was lucky enough to have Luke at the age of 48. And it was a real blessing, and I took a year off to enjoy the experience and to really engage with that and get involved and help my wife, although I think she saw it more as a hindrance than a help. But again, the birth of my child and this bond I was looking to form with him, these were far more important than my type 2 diabetes. And it got worse. And I'd tried all the medications. So in 2015, I went to the doctor and I said, Doctor, I think I really like to try insulin, because none of these drugs so far are particularly good and they all give me side effects. So I'd like to try insulin. And going through my head, I had these thoughts, oh, insulin, that's a natural hormone. So how bad can that be? But giving a type 2 diabetic insulin is not the best thing, because insulin is a fat producing drug, a fat producing hormone. Because as a type 2 diabetic, you're already insulin resistant. And then, you're being given, you're injecting this synthesized insulin, which hasn't got any more chance of getting into the cells than the real insulin, than the original product that your pancreas was producing in the first place. And then these end up being converted into triglycerides, and that produces fat, and the fat gathers around your viscera, around your pancreas and your liver, and that stops the communication. The pancreas would have said to the liver, stop producing glucose now. And that mechanism ceases to work, and you build up more fat in the body. And so between 2015 and 2022, when I was injecting insulin, I put on about 9 kilos over that time. And it wasn't just that. It was, I think one of the worst things was, the two worst things were the brain fog I went through, and I was a highly paid contractor, and my clients were relying on me for advice and movement in their large workforces. So these were large insurance companies and banks and people like this. And I was not able to, I didn't have the mental capacity to fulfill that role at a level that was expected of me as a contractor. So I fell out with clients, I lost assignments, and the gap between assignments grew. Now looking back, I can tell you that between those years of 2015 and 2022, I lost in excess of £250,000 in fee income because of what I just explained. And that was income my family were counting on, and it wasn't flowing anymore. And then this story has a happy ending, so stick with me. And then in 2022, well, November 2021, I think, my Uncle John, and he wasn't actually my uncle, but we called him Uncle John, he had his leg amputated due to uncontrolled type 2 diabetes. Christmas followed the month later, and my son, we were sitting on the bed after a big meal, as you do at Christmas, and he was talking to me, and he said, "Dad, Uncle John had his leg chopped off because of his type 2 diabetes. You've got type 2 diabetes. When are you having yours done?" And that was a catalyst moment for me. I didn't want to hear that again. So I studied about type 2 diabetes. I learned about it, some of the biology and the science behind it. And more importantly, I learned that it can be reversed. And I decided that's what I want. And I was very good at making plans and following through plans. I'd had a background as a project manager, and that was my space. So I built a plan. I lost lots of weight. I started to exercise. And I won't even say miraculously, because I'd done it 2 or 3 times before. But I was determined this was going to be my last time. And after losing 16 kilos, which took me roughly the same amount of weeks, my blood sugar readings were much better. I removed that need to inject insulin. All my type 2 diabetes medications, they were gone. I didn't need them anymore. But I was still convinced that there was something missing here. Because, as I say, I tried it. In fact, I'd reversed it 2 or 3 times in the 20 years that I'd had it. But it had always come back. Normally within 18 months to 2 years, it had come back. Because I hadn't looked at the root cause. What was the root cause of this? This is a lifestyle disease. So the root cause must have something to do with my lifestyle. Logical conclusion. So I started to hunt around, to research, to look at a way of aligning my lifestyle to what my body needed. And I was left wanting, really, in terms of information. So I decided that maybe there's something else, because this type 2 diabetes thing had got huge. It's worldwide. It's, I remember back in the 80s, I didn't know anyone who had type 2 diabetes. It wasn't even talked about. But here I was, and 5 million people in the UK with type 2 diabetes. There must be something behind this. And I'd heard lots of learned people talking about big food and how big food was to blame and stuff. But I wanted to look further into this, and we've still got the continuous stream, by the way. So if you're feeling this healing energy and it's causing a physical sensation in your body, then please type something in the chat, because it's good to get this feedback. It's still with me now. I keep testing for it. But as I get back to my story, I realized that diet and exercise weren't enough, and that the thing missing had been missing for a long time, because type 2 diabetes takes about 10 to 15 years to develop. And I figured, I have quite a scientific kind of leaning, and I figured that there must be a root cause somewhere. And luckily, I was introduced to a healer, and like a message, I didn't know where that message had come from, but I was told that the answer lies in healing. So that's what I studied for some time now. And that's how I come to you right now as a healer. I've walked the walk. I've reversed my type 2 diabetes with diet and exercise. But knowing what I know now, It's actually the other way round. And you need to heal first. You need to heal first before you get rid of your condition. And your condition might not even be type 2 diabetes. But whatever it is, it's there because over the course of time, we acquire lots of what I describe as lots of emotions that we trap within our body because at the time they served us and they protected us. But now they don't serve us at all. And the amalgamation of all these energy blockages manifests itself as a condition or as a physical problem with the shoulder, problem with the neck, problem with the lower back, problem with the hips, or type 2 diabetes, or fibromyalgia. I'm not a medic. I don't know. I can't give you a list of conditions that might be impacted by trapped emotions. But all I know is from experience with clients that it really helps. That if you're, for example, a type 2 diabetic, I believe that you can't, I believe to sustainably keep type 2 diabetes at bay, you need to heal. Because otherwise, as slowly as it comes back up, it will materialize and start providing opacity for your health again. So now I love nothing better than to see people who feel that there's perhaps something missing, that there's a gap somewhere, or particularly those that have type 2 diabetes. And I invite them to heal. Because you can diet, you can exercise with any number of people. You can do it with me. But the healing is something you may need more help with. And I work at quite a deep level with clients on what the trapped emotion is and the root cause for their condition without needing to know any details at all, no more than the subconscious mind needs in order to release. And then when they're released, then you can chase optimal health because you have the cellular and emotional foundation, because you have the access to the original light that God gave to you. You are a being of light and energy. And as we're all born and we come into this world, our light is there to shine without opacity, without shadow, without darkness. But life throws challenges at us. And these challenges act as shadows, as impediments to our true light. For me, it goes back to the time when I was 8. I won't go into it right now, but I find very often with clients that it can go back to childhood. It can go back to gestation, to when you're in your mum's tum. And sometimes indeed there can be generational trapped energies which you were blessed with when from the moment you were born, and can go back. Well, I had a couple that were going back 17 generations, and the client I had today had one going back, I think 8 or 9 generations. It's less common, but it's not unknown. So the reason I'm here today, the reason God's given me this this mission, is to talk to you about healing, and to say, if you're suffering from a long-term condition, what you might be described as a chronic condition, then give healing a go. And if you like the idea of being healed, of healing yourself, then throw me your favorite emoji in the comments, and then I'll come back to you. We'll connect as friends. I'll come back to you with a link, and you yourself can have a discovery call with me and get to understand a little bit more deeply what God's love and healing energy, what healing energy can do for you. Because we are beings of light and beings of energy, and God wants the best for us, the very best for us. So don't you deserve that? I know you do. And in healing, very oftentimes, your true purpose will reveal itself to you in a way that it revealed itself to me. Because prior to my calling, I was a business consultant for the last 25 years. And I'm still using that skill to reach other time-based earners and business owners, because that's where I'm focusing my healing and my work right now, because it's this sector that suffers the most from things like type 2 diabetes, from health issues. It damages their capacity, their capability to fulfill their complex role or their specialist role, and therefore to provide income for their families and a livelihood for a lot more than that. And it needn't be that way. So that's where I focus my energies right now. But if you have a particular niggle, a condition, something that you feel could have an emotional foundation, and you'd like healing, who am I to deny that to you? And if you'd like that, just type healing in the chat, in the comments, and I'll get back to you. And I'll offer you a very short discovery call to check in and see if we can't help. Because that's what my business is all about. It's about providing service to God by helping people to heal. So this stream of consciousness is still there. This healing power is still on the call. And for the last time now, I'm going to ask you if you felt any physical movement or anything a bit out of the ordinary, please add your commentary to the chat. And the last thing I'm going to say before I release this energy and release you to have just a wonderful weekend is to say, if you're watching this on catch up I did wonder whether this stream of consciousness, whether this healing energy would be open to you whenever you surface this or whenever you go through this video. And the answer very firmly was yes. And I do struggle to understand exactly how that can happen, but it doesn't matter. I got a very firm yes. So the question again is to you. If you're watching this on catch up, please come back to me with your feedback, with your comments. If you have felt physical sensations or anything else that is a little unusual, because that kind of feedback is just, I have faith, so I know the power of this. But to hear that you felt the power of this too, that would put a massive smile on my face, even bigger than the one I'm wearing now. So I'm going to draw things to a close now. If you'd like to understand a bit more about what I do for type 2 diabetes, write type 2 diabetes in the chat. And again, we can talk about that. Type 2 diabetes, an emoji, healing. If you want to learn more, get in contact. And I wish you best for the weekend. It's going to be a nice warm one, I think. So enjoy it, have fun, and God bless you all. Bye for now.